Shit.
An unapologetically raw and real podcast where we tackle life's challenges with real stories.
Real stories.
Fake here, advice, and expert insights. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Day to Day Bullshit. I'm Coach Adam, and who do we got here?
My name is.
My name is. Really a bit silly here today.
It's Dawn.
And I am C.
ADC.
And we are talking about looking at the bullshit job market from a different point of view.
Oh, right. Well, remember, if you recall,
Yes.
so in a previous episode, we spoke with a recent master's grad and about their perception of the difficulty of finding a job in this market. You all recall that?
Yes.
Right.
I lived it.
Yeah, and I'm living it now. When we posted, we included, so I posted the episode, but I included a question. Are there really jobs out there? And I wanted to hear from everyone because from my own experience, from, the whole thing. And we received a lot of comments on that. Most people agree, absolutely 100% bullshit job postings. The same one's been floating around for more than a year.
Oh, wow.
Never getting calls back, all that stuff. And then a man posted a picture of his dirty hands. He sent me a
I thought you were
photo.
going to say something else.
Yes, of his dirty. Let that imagine.
Posted a picture of his dirty hands.
God only knows what he was doing. Certainly, it wasn't in my basement, so thank God. Anyway,
And oddly specific.
well, my basement had a little bit of a shitty problem.
Backstory.
Yeah, backstory. And literally was back. So the man posted a picture of his hands, his dirty hands, and he said, yes, if you have hands like these and you're willing to do labor, then yes, there's jobs out there for you.
Wow.
So the question begs, blue collar versus white collar jobs. Do you think because of social media, education, and modern times that people are in general skewed to looking at just white collar jobs? And what is the impact of this? So are we looking at there's no white collar jobs available anymore? And do we all have to start getting our hands dirty and gritty?
Picking up.
What do y'all think?
That's a job.
That is a job.
That is a
It's
job.
a shitty job, but it's a
shitty
job.
It's a job. Okay.
Once again, I'm going to try to hit the record for the fart sound.
So, that I thought that was interesting. And plus those jobs are generally available dirty jobs or not dirty jobs, labor intensive jobs are everywhere, but a lot of times the better paying ones are out on rigs, oil rigs, stuff like that.
On top of
And in the
bridges.
Midwest and I'm sure PSE&G needs guys to get out there at 3:00 in the morning when they've
On the
blown over the
poles.
damn poles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different ones. I guess we could think.
Blow over the damn poles. Is that a euphemism or?
Oh, there's two.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Right.
Whoa. All right, I'm going to leave the room.
He's getting excited.
Oh no, not that. Not excited.
Oh, yes.
Hey, but you know what? Since I'm unemployed now, but I
As am I.
not that I'm asking for a job. I
Still
saw stuff
asking for a job.
She'd be looking for a job.
I saw on the internet, I was scrolling. I'm gonna stop doing that. Talk about that later. And it said Delta jobs remotely, $31 an hour. I'm like,
What the hell's
really?
a Delta job? You mean like the airline?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that was the beach.
Did you
No.
follow up on it at all?
I mean, the criteria in order to work for Delta is you have to have vision to a certain point. You have to be able to.
I think maybe reservations. I'm quite sure that was probably reservations, something like that. The airlines, because everything is what is it, sent out all over the damn place. Well, everybody, all the jobs are sent outside of the
Everywhere.
United
No,
States
you can find them on every single job site out there.
It's ridiculous. So I was like, yeah. So I think that was a BS.
Could have been.
What about all these jobs? I feel like on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
you constantly
Wow, there's that.
see
There's that. Yeah. There's,
postings. Yeah.
and then they're always saying not accepting jobs, not accepting applications anymore
This
because
time.
too many people within a 10-minute span have applied to that
Flooded
job.
the email.
It's like everyone
Really?
unemployed and how many people are looking for jobs right now? And why is
We're looking to change jobs. What's going on?
or looking to change jobs or whatever? But so now we're left with because I know when we put out the job posting that we put out for our company for some media reps, I had all kinds of options. I said this before in the previous episode. I could eliminate at least 100 people at once just by one little question.
Wow.
And so, but you know what the problem with that is they might have 10 other things that really are relevant that I wasn't thinking of at the time.
Right.
And then that would have been a freaking rock star of a person for the job. But, you know, so they have all these filters and ways, and you don't even know it. And then it says, we will send the regret letter in 2 days. They automatically do this for you. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
What?
And it takes their name, and then it puts it on there and says, thank you, C, for applying. Go fuck yourself. You didn't get the job.
Wow.
You know, pretty much. But, and so I get tons of those as I apply through, you know, a lot of jobs on LinkedIn and anywhere else. But
Wow.
so that's just my personal experience. But other people have said they go through this is a real problem.
Well, I came across something on jobvite.com. I'm not getting paid to say this.
Okay.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 829,000 jobs were added in Q1 of 2024. For those of you playing at home, that's this year. Proving that the U.S. labor market continues to defy expectations. Interesting. Well, I'm going to be very interested to hear if our guest today, I'm sure she has an opinion, many opinions perhaps on this. And shall I introduce her?
Yes.
Yeah, why not, please?
Okay, first, because our lovely director printed this so friggin' small. Oh.
So now he has to be seen with his old man glasses.
Hey, I love it. These are my, $7 readers.
That's it? $7 for the reading?
Maybe 10. So Michele Darley is who we're going to be talking to. She's a leader in all things recruiting and talent acquisition, as well as a certified career coach. Hey, another coach.
Hello, coach.
Another coach. All
Coach.
right.
That wasn't what you wanted.
What I wanted was, hey, coach. There we go. Certified career coach with 25 years of experience in finding top talent for Fortune 50 to Fortune 500 companies. She has been quoted in the Wall Street Journal and has been a LinkedIn top voice for recruiting. Speaking of LinkedIn,
Okay.
right.
job search, interview tips. So I have a question. So let's welcome her in. First of all, Michele Darley, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
She don't know she getting ready to get everybody a job now.
I know, really. Thank God she's coming on. Now we'll all know how to navigate this job dilemma.
Yes. So I have a question, Michele, to start you off. First of all, welcome and thank you for being here.
Yes.
The U.S. has a population of 334.9 million. That was as of 2023. For those of you playing along at home, that was last year. Yet many people we talk to, and also comments we see online, all think there are no jobs to be had. And we were talking last time about this idea of ghost jobs.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this, Michele?
It's a great question. And I would say this is the worst job market that I have ever experienced. And I have been doing this since the late 90s. We had September 11th. There was a huge lack of jobs. The
Right.
Great Recession was in like the mid 2000s, huge lack of jobs. And again, during the pandemic, everybody was losing their jobs. I lost my job in all three of those times. Now, this is the worst job market. I know so many people that have been out of work for over a year.
Oh,
That's extensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
And as a recruiter, companies will get rid of recruiters because they're not hiring. The last time I lost my job, I was working for the biggest or the most well-known executive recruiting search firm in the world. And an internal recruiter, they have no more internal recruiting team. Like they got rid of it.
Wow.
So I left on my own. I had gotten laid off, came back after the pandemic, after a year, and I left. And then they had 2 rounds of layoffs, and there's like 2 people from my team that are still there.
Oh, wow.
That's big.
Are, they're cutting costs. They're having like quiet firings where they're just having a return to office. And so many people during the pandemic were like, I'm going to take this time. I work from home. So I'm going to move somewhere less expensive. And then all of a sudden, big companies like Amazon and Tesla are like, got to come back to the office 5 days a week. And now these people live in a completely different part of the country.
Right.
and they don't want to move back to the expensive
It's a-
cities that these
yeah.
companies are in.
Very
So
true.
there's some reasons why those people are out of work, and now they live at a place where maybe there aren't as many jobs, and there may not be as many remote jobs, because now companies have real estate that they've paid for a certain amount of time, and they want to use it, because otherwise it's just sitting there.
Yeah,
Right.
just sitting there.
So
Just
That sounds like a bad, kind of a perfect
And-
storm.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I mean, that's what a horrible position to be in. You relocate because you think you're remote, and then you can no longer do your job.
yeah, and I've been lucky for since 2019. I've worked remotely. I've had remote only jobs where there was literally
Mhm.
no office for me to go to. And I
Wow.
make sure of that when I look for a job, because I do not want to work remote. I do not want to go to an office ever
Who
again.
does?
in your opinion, Michelle, would you say that white collar jobs are non-existent right now and all people can look for are blue collar type of jobs? What does that mean for men and women?
Mm.
I don't believe that they're non-existent. What I think happens is people are so stressed out from being out of work that they're just applying for everything.
Right.
So I have you hear the term rage applying. I've heard that term so many times.
Oh,
They're
I've
just
never heard that.
Rage applying.
That means you just press the button.
everything.
you
Right.
get those ZipRecruiter job alerts, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna apply for that.
Oh.
Apply for that. I'm going to apply for that.
For that.
And a lot of times, and I have seen this firsthand because I was recruiting salespeople at my last job, but
Mhm.
they were very specific salespeople. They had to have experience in the telecommunications industry, and more specifically, internal telecommunications, not like phones, but they were like internal, multi-location, very specific, very like there's all these acronyms for things. So I was looking for those specific things, but people would see, telecommunication sales, and I'm getting people from AT&T stores. So,
Oh,
they're
Right.
so people see the title, don't read the job description, and they're just, throwing things against the wall to see what's. So the jobs are there, the people are desperate, and I get that. And they're just apply without just reading the job description to see, is this the right job for me? So there are white collar jobs out there. There are a lot, but I think people are not taking the time to do the research to apply for the right jobs. And because now I'm not recruiting, I'm coaching. And so this is what I teach my clients, is how to read a job posting. And if you look on my LinkedIn profile, I have a newsletter about this, and it's like the anatomy of a job description, because the job description will say, we're looking for somebody that can do this, this, and this. It'll have the requirements, and they're usually listed in order of importance. The most important thing, it'll say the education, and it will say like it requires a bachelor's degree. A lot of companies, I feel like, are loosening that, because there's a lot of jobs that, in my opinion, you do not need a bachelor's degree to do. You don't need
Oh, yeah.
Agree.
to do what I do. I have a bachelor's degree, but like my degree in literature has nothing to do with my recruiting job or coaching. And you don't need it. Maybe if in accounting, the degree is probably more important, because there's accounting principles and math and stuff
Right.
like
yeah.
Right.
but it may also say a bachelor's degree or 4 years of experience.
The experience. Yeah.
Right. So
Because-
just reading that, people can say, oh, well, I don't have the degree, but I have this.
4 years
So
experience.
you go top down, the most important experience is on the top. And as it goes down, it's less important. So what I tell people is go for like 80% of the requirements, and then then apply for the job. The next thing I'll say is, don't apply on LinkedIn, don't apply on Indeed, don't apply on ZipRecruiter. If you can see who the company is, go right to their website and apply there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know it's a pain. I just had this conversation with my sister, because you have to make different passwords and you have to remember them. And I
You can't write them down.
Yeah.
you can write them down too, however it works best for you. But keep a spreadsheet. Applied for at this company for this job on this date. Here's the
Yeah.
username, here's my password, just to keep it all in, order.
Track it. Yeah.
And you track it. Did I get the email saying that they received my application? What was the response if I got one? And you have to be more, you're going to be targeted in your search. I do this. I'm really good at this. And then you just keep looking, but you can't do just one thing to look for a job anymore. And I know I'm kind of going off of what you said. So let me go back to what you asked, the white collar job versus blue collar job. I think there's both. And I think there's a lot of people back when, in the 80s when I was graduating from high school, I hate to date myself like that, but
hey, we graduated in the 80s from high school too. You're in good company.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
We're the generation after. So, everyone's like, oh, you have to go to college, but you don't have to go to college. I think there was a lot of looking down on the trades and where you can make a lot of money working in the trades. And I think forcing children to go to college when they don't want to go to college is not the best thing to do. And
I agree.
I think we need people that know how to weld and know how to build things and know how to do things with their hands. And I have a lot of respect for those people because I don't know how to do any of that. I have to call somebody to put together the furniture that I order from Wayfair.
That's funny.
All right.
I do have a question though. I was comparing and noticing from way back when in the 90s, I guess, when I'd apply for a job, kind of my edge was that I was bilingual. So that was always getting me in the door real fast because they wanted bilingual people in California a lot. So that was one thing. And then back then also degrees sometimes showed up, but experience was thought to be better than just out of school with a degree.
Sure.
So that was the win that I had back then. It was like the language thing and then plus the experience. So and then I'm noticing today though is a lot of the job offerings that they're putting out there on LinkedIn, Indeed, anywhere, all of those places. And I do actually go to the websites and I actually look for the people, who's in charge of HR. I do all those steps. I still don't get a response, but that's just me. But I'm noticing very few are saying job experience, where even a couple of years ago, they were saying job experience in lieu of, that was still there. It was really big. And now what I'm seeing is, which I never used to see, is do you have a master's? It used to be bachelor's back in the day, but now they're saying, do you have a master's? And I'm like, why does suddenly every company on the planet need to have a master's for these jobs? And some of them are kind of menial in a way. So it's like, what? Why do you want a master's for that?
Is it a requirement to have a master's, or are they just asking the question at the application?
It's not a question, but a requirement. Usually they'll tell you, it'll start with, what do we want? What do we want from you? A master's degree, this, that, the other thing.
Do they specify a master's in what?
No, never a master's in what. That's never been it's never come up, at least not the jobs I'm looking at, because I'm not looking at stuff that would really require a master's. Anything in film or anything like that, they're not looking for a master's. And who gets a master's in film? Hardly.
Creativity.
Right. So
something like that.
That you just don't do. And that's a trade school kind of thing almost too. You could either go to USC or you don't, or you could go to Tisch or New York, but it's not necessary for that. But now, that pops up so much, and I don't know what the purpose. Are they trying to circumvent this mass or rage applying so that they don't do it? Or are they doing this because they truly want a master's, or are there's really no job and the only way I can get away with, because that sometimes companies do have to post regardless to make it look like growth is happening.
Yes, they do.
And for their their board members and their investors and stuff. So I'm wondering, what's your take on that, Michelle? Is that a BS thing? Is it really what they require? Is it another way to mask or ghost a job?
So I have a lot to say about this.
Okay.
We're listening.
I have never I'm not going to say no. I've rarely had a position that required a master's degree unless it was really high level. And that
Right.
was when I was working like in the pharmaceutical industry, and you need to have like master's in chemistry or a PhD in something if it
Right.
was, so I'm not sure what type of roles you're looking at that are requiring master's degrees, because I rarely see that. And I would have to dig deeper at looking at the positions that you're specifically applying to see why they would require a master's degree. However, the things that you're saying about companies having to post jobs, like these ghost jobs, and I heard your last podcast and talking about ghost jobs, and I feel like I need to dispel this myth, because every time a company posts a job, they're going to get so many resumes, and there's no need to post. Nobody needs to post jobs unnecessarily. There's a cost. If you're posting a job on LinkedIn, there's a cost for that. If you're posting a job on Indeed, there's a cost for that. There's very few free job sites. And then a lot of these job sites are aggregating other job sites. And so you'll see, if you just do a search you can use Google as a job search engine and put in, I can put in senior recruiter, remote, and tons of positions will come up, and some of them will be from LinkedIn, and some of them will be from Indeed, and some of them will be on ZipRecruiter, because they're all just like incestuously coming from other places. And
Right.
So the ghost jobs is, I feel like people are so stressed out because they're not working. I know the year that I wasn't working during the pandemic was one of the worst years for me, because I love to work. I love to do what I do. And I felt like I was walking through sludge.
Yeah.
And when I was able to start applying, it was like, ooh, I'm going to apply. I'm going to apply for this. I'm going to apply for that. I'm going to apply for this. But I think what's happening is people are getting frustrated. They're getting angry. And I see it on LinkedIn. I'm connected to so many people on LinkedIn that have been out of work for 8 months, 10 months, 12 months. I've a friend, she's been out of work and a half. Yeah. And rumors come up. So it used to be the AI bots. That was what people were talking about like 6 months ago, the AI bots and the applicant tracking systems that are going through your resume, combing for keywords. And that's not necessarily true. And when I write resumes and when I help people with their resumes, I tell people you need to write your resumes for human consumption, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a person that's looking at your resume. People are talking about taking the entire job description and pasting it onto your resume in white font so that all of the keywords will be there, and that it's not going to do that, because I mean, I'm going to be the one that's going to get the resume, and I'm not going to see that. I'm going to be reading your resume.
Wow.
People are, there's companies out there that are, promoting their software for you to pay for, so you can see if your resume is AI compliant. And if it's not, then you can pay for their service and have one of their resume writers fix your resume. And I've seen those resumes, and I'm like, this is not a good resume, because I know what a resume looks like when I'm opening it in an applicant tracking system, and some of the formats are terrible.
Yeah, they do come out bad.
Is that just with AI? I didn't mean to answer. Or is it just that sometimes when you look at a resume, are they looking for those key things? And so
I'm looking for key things.
Okay.
So I know, because I'm working with the hiring managers. I know what they want. I know what they're looking for, especially, there's a lot of recruiters that specialize. So I was a sales recruiter. That's what I did for the last 7 years, specifically sales. Previous to that, I did sales and marketing. And for the last 7 years, specifically in technology. So my eyes are peeled for certain things, and I can tell you a lot just about sales, because I had to learn what sales was about so I could be the best sales recruiter. So I'm looking for very specific things on resumes. And if they don't have it, they're probably not going to make it through. Maybe they have some of it, and I might call that person to say, I saw this on your resume. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And then I will tell them right away, you know what, I'm sorry, but based on what you're telling me, you're not going to be a good fit for this role. And I'd rather be honest and tell them right away
Yeah.
than, let them, I don't want anybody to have false hope from me,
Right.
you
And
know?
I want to circle back. I've been looking for jobs for about 3 years, but in the last year, or less than, I'm getting a lot of jobs from calls from recruiters who are finding my resume in all of these databases. And what happens, and this happens to my husband and I both. A recruiter calls, they're like, "Are you available for work?" Yes. It does the rate work? Yes. Do you have all of these things? Yes. So they're like, "Great, it's 100%." And then they're like, "Give us the right to represent." And then we do. And then it's crickets. We never hear from them again. So it's the same shit all over again. I've had at least, probably in the last year, that happened at least 45 times.
Wow.
So that's, I don't understand.
Go ahead.
And I hate it. It hurts my recruiter heart to hear that, because follow-up is so important. But I tell coaching clients, like, you have to follow up and you need to have a cadence. Like, if you heard from somebody on Monday and they said, we're going to get back to you, call them on Friday. What happened? Did you do what you said you were going to do?
Yeah.
Because
I know I do send a follow-up note.
Follow-up.
Yeah, to email. And
we have to pick up the phone. Like, this is, like I said, this is the toughest job market I've ever seen. I've been doing this for a very long time. We have to be so proactive in what we're doing. And we like using those recruiters. I just sent one of my clients like, go on LinkedIn and search for technical recruiters. Go, then click on companies, and then you're going to get all the technical recruiting companies that there are. And now you're going to reach out to all of the recruiters at those companies, connect with them, and tell them you're looking for a job, because all those companies can help you. And then you're going to keep looking for jobs, and you're going to keep connecting to people at companies that you're interested in. And you have to it's like a multi-pronged approach to finding a job. You can't just do one thing.
It's exhausting.
it is.
My
God.
It's a lot.
For man-made money that we didn't even start,
Michele, this is so exhausting.
It is tiring. However, the more touch points you make with people, the better chance you have of getting a job. You can't be stagnant and just wait for the job. The jobs are not going to just come to you. They don't. If 20 years ago, just apply for a few jobs and you
hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
It's so much more about who you know and who you can get to know through those people than just like applying for a job after a job after job.
Yeah.
The last job that I got was through somebody I'd worked with before, connected me to his newer company. They didn't need me, but they referred me to another company, and that job I got. So your news, that you have your LinkedIn network, you have to grow your LinkedIn network and actually get to know the people in your network and use them to help you. Hey, I'm out of work. Use that green banner. And people talk about, oh, it's like shameful. It's not shameful.
Just saying you need
More
a job.
people than
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Is there a stigma for that? Look at like ready to work.
Anybody that says that if there's a stigma to it should not be involved in recruiting in any way, shape, or form, and they shouldn't be hiring, because most of the people that are out of work it's not their fault that they're out of work. There were so many layoffs in so many companies and so many industries that, I didn't get laid off because I wanted to get laid off at any time. And the one time I got laid off during the Great Recession, everyone's like, oh, Michele, they're not going to let you off. Everybody loves you. You just won an award. You're going to be fine. And I'm like, I will believe that when they've laid everybody off and I'm still here. And sure enough, second round, Michele, can you come to my office? And I was like,
you knew it was coming.
Wow.
I knew. And I was like, I'm going to walk out of here with pride, and I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And everything happens for a reason. It wasn't my job. That's what I tell people. It wasn't my job anymore. It got me to a different place in my career. I got to do something different. And now here I am with you guys, and I know so much more. So it's a very stressful time for job seekers. And I get that. And sometimes and then, you know, sometimes people want to change careers, and it's possible to do that. And sometimes working with a coach, and I'm not saying me specifically, there's tons of good coaches out there, but it is possible to change careers. What I recommend, you know, you might not want to go from like a salesperson to a rocket scientist. And I know I'm being ridiculous with that example, but you don't want to go from but you might want to go from an Apple to something Apple adjacent.
Yeah.
So by me going from like recruiting to coaching was like for me, it was like the perfect career move, because it takes all the things that I know so well, and now I can put that into this different career. And it was like a great adjacent role that I can make, you know, turn into another career. So when I talk to people about changing careers, we look through their resume. We talk about what they were doing. What do they like most about what they were doing? What do they like least about what they're doing? And then we can look at, you know, what jobs are out there. And I'll tell people, just go online, see what jobs are posted. What looks interesting to you? Do you think you could do it? Because that's a thing also, that people will see a job description and be like, I could do that. People would tell me all the time, Michelle, you should sell real estate. Well, first of all, I feel like that would be horrific. I don't think I would like that at all. Everyone's like, but you would be so good at it. And I'm like, I don't think I would. As much as I know about sales, I'm a terrible salesperson. So a lot of people think that they would be good at things, so they apply for those jobs, but if their resume doesn't match it,
right,
they're never going to get that job. So it's important to make sure that you're tweaking your resume to match the job. And it doesn't have to be every line of your resume, but you just need to have things kind of woven into your resume that push yourself into that title, so that the people reading it, like me, will see, oh, they've done this, that matches. And most importantly, on your resume, you don't put an objective, because everyone's objective is the same. I want a job. That's your objective. We're getting a job. You have a summary, and above the summary, you're going to put a title. Whatever job you're applying for, that's your title. So if one job is, you know, product manager, that's the title for that resume. And you're going to say, Michele Darley is a successful product manager with that experience. The next job you apply for is a senior project manager. You change the title, you change that first sentence. And you can always change the titles at your previous companies, because every company has different titles. Nobody goes back and checks to see what your title was. The only place where you need to be honest about your titles is when they do a background check.
Right.
Like, oh, this is my actual title. And the recruiter doesn't see the background check. The hiring manager doesn't see the background check. Only the background check people see the background check, and they just send us a note to say they passed.
They're good.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of unexpected.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the title.
Right.
I didn't know that. But I was like, I really thought that ghost jobs was ghost jobs. I really didn't think there was anything out there.
I think that it's become like this mythical thing, and you know, because there's so much ghosting, and I know that's true.
That's the thing. Yes.
And it's, you know, recruiters are ghosting candidates. I know that's a thing, but I could tell you this year, I was ghosted between January and July when I left my job probably like 20 times by candidates. We had calls scheduled. I'm on Microsoft Teams waiting for this person to interview me.
Or my God, that's so rude.
It is. They don't come on.
That's not
sending them a message. Hey,
no, that wasn't the one I wanted.
Either no response, or someone says, "Oh, you know what? I changed my mind. Oh, I forgot." And just
rude.
So it's on both sides. It's not just
so
me
rude.
saying, you know, it's not just the recruiters that are ghosting, but people do this. Everybody is busy. People forget. And what happens for a lot of jobs, I can tell you, I was hiring for an HR business partner. The human resources and recruiting, they were hit very hard. There are so many people that are out of work. I have a lot of personal friends in recruiting and HR that are out of work. We posted an HR business partner on a Friday. by Monday, we had 300 plus resumes.
Wow.
Yep.
And
Wow.
so
Wow.
that's
No
me,
surprise.
Really?
me reading every resume. Then my boss reads every resume. And I'm like, do you want me to take it down? And she's like, no, let's get some more resumes.
So
So
300 resumes y'all read?
yes, she wanted to read more.
Wow.
So now I'm keeping it up and I'm getting it now. And then you see on LinkedIn, 100 people plus have applied for this role, which was true. However, it's not always true. And LinkedIn has changed that due to all the complaints. Now you'll see 100 plus people have shown interest in this.
Yes, they did reword it. I did catch that.
They
And I
changed
saw that recently.
because once you click
Wow.
on the apply button, it doesn't mean everybody's actually applying, because that apply button is taking you to the company website. But not everybody wants to go apply on the company website.
That's true too.
They get it and they don't apply unless it's an easy apply. Easy apply will typically share your profile with the person that posted it, as well as send, you will be able to attach your resume. But
Right.
those 100 applications are not always going through. But and I had done easy apply where they had to attach their resume. So in my inbox was 300 resumes and then like another 200 resumes that were going through trying to find the right person. And it's a lot. And because it wasn't going into my applicant tracking system, can I send a bulk email of 500 rejection letters? And I'll be honest, I didn't. I couldn't. There was no way for me to do that because along with that HR business partner role, I had 17 other positions that I was working on that needed my attention just as much.
Right.
And my boss was like, go back to work on your stuff. She's busy with looking through and setting up the interviews and all of that.
So there's nothing sent out.
It's unfortunate. Would I like to get back to all of those people? I would have. I got back to the people that went through the interview process and were not chosen. But some of the people that applied for the HR business partner roles were not even remotely related to the job description. I had teachers applying. I had salespeople applying. You name it, they were applying. And so, for me, it's like, it entertains me through the day. If I have to read all of these resumes, at least I can have fun while I'm doing it. Because I'm like, oh, why do you think you would be good for this? And I'm just keep going through because it's a lot. And then when they say, a recruiter scans your resume for 5 to 7 minutes or seconds, rather, it's true. Because I was
getting ready to hit the bullshit sign. I was getting ready to take it really.
I didn't hear what you said. I don't know if I was supposed to.
I said I was getting ready to hit the bullshit sign. I'm be honest with you. I was, because I was like, I'll be honest. I didn't think recruiters read the entire resumes. That's just me.
They don't.
And I remember
we might not if the first page
thing don't hit it right.
If the first page is not showing me that you're a fit for this position, then I'm not going to go to the second page. I'm going to keep going to the resume.
You're going, because we had an HR person. I don't work there anymore. I don't care. And she was reading the resumes, and I felt that I should be reading them because I was director of finance. She don't know nothing about finance. So when I got the resumes and I look at it and I says, why did you send me this? She says, oh, she said she can read what? Financials? I can read financials too. Basic balance sheet, forethought. She said, Dawn, you're being funny. I said, no, I'm being facetious and you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
I don't want that resume.
And that's the shame.
Good one, Dawn.
Yeah.
That it's a shame and that's why I chose to specialize. There are generalist recruiters out there, but I enjoy getting really deep into the knowledge of what I'm recruiting for. So when I started in IT, I went to a pharmaceutical company and I was on the commercial team. So all the commercial aspects of the company. And I said to my new boss, I know a lot about IT. And he's like, you're going to do marketing. And I'm like, okay. And I literally started studying marketing so that when I ask marketing questions, I know what the answer is. Do you know what the 4 P's of marketing are? And they could tell me how you've used it in your last job. So I can ask educated questions and they can give me the right answer. And I did the same thing with sales. I talked to the salespeople about what they do, and I know what to look for on a sales resume. So I don't have a hiring manager come to me like you just said, Dawn. Like, why are you sending me this resume? If I ever hear that
about it.
Yeah.
embarrassed. I would feel so awful if I ever had a hiring manager say that to me. I've had the last two head of sales tell me, like, you feel you can be on our team, Michelle. Like, you're just as much a part of our team as you are the recruiting team. Because I got embedded in that because I worked side by side with them. We did interviews together. We met every week because if you're going to be a good recruiter and if you want to get the right people into a company, you really have to understand what they're doing.
Absolutely.
I would say.
Makes total sense.
Ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Okay. She brought the person in for an interview and I didn't know. And she says, "Oh, I found a nice person for you." So I said to the woman, "Listen, the rent expense, I think I told you on the balance sheet, the number was wrong. What would you do about it?" And she's explaining to me. And then, after the interview was over, she said, "That's a good girl. That's a good employee." I said, "The rent expense is not on the balance sheet, damn it."
Oh.
I don't want her.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
So I'm like, yo, Michelle, you're excellent because I think you specialize, so you know what to ask and things like that. But like, see, I was looking for a job at one time. After a while, I said, forget it. I am the job, and I have the skills. You want a bachelor's, got that. You want a master's, got that. And they was like, oh well, we're not looking for someone that had, yeah, okay.
Totally.
No, you didn't want to hire nobody because you ain't got the damn job. So I was like one of those rebels, I'm like, see, this is a damn ghost job. You never had the job.
There was no job.
Made me come down here for nothing.
I like that though. You are the job.
Yeah,
Yes.
we are the job. It's all we got at the moment.
Yes.
I mean, what are we gonna do?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, this was great. Great to get a different perspective on what everyone feels is hopeless in the job
Yes.
situation.
I was surprised by a few of the things you said, Michelle.
Yeah.
And also, we'd love to have you come back and maybe talk a little bit more about coaching in an episode. I'm biased because I'm a coach.
Season
Dawn's a
2.
coach.
Yeah,
Season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2, these two coaches, let me tell you.
What would you think about that, Michelle?
I would love to come back.
Awesome.
That would be great.
Yeah, I think people need to know because the way you're talking about how to get a job now is totally different. And that's why they can't find the jobs.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and I'll just be devil advocate here.
Okay.
I've done the proactive
I
way. I've
know
done
you
that many
have.
different ways, and it still hasn't worked. for me.
Yeah.
And I've changed my resume 500 times, like to try.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
Well, Michelle, I want C to be working by January 3rd. Okay, sweetie.
January 3rd, very specific date.
January 3rd. Oh, that's a good date.
if you want to send me your resume, I'm happy to take a look at it for you.
Oh, that's all. Yes,
That's
absolutely.
exactly what Dawn was looking
That's what
for.
I'm
Thank
looking
you.
for. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, awesome.
Come back anytime. I honestly, I love helping people, which is why I wanted to move into coaching because recruiting can become a grind, but like helping people and teaching them how to look for a job, teaching them and answering interview questions also is I'm certified in interview training. So
Oh,
I'm
nice.
helping people learn to answer interview questions properly.
Right.
Is I'm very passionate about it. So
Alright.
I'm happy to come back and talk about
Wonderful.
I like
you.
that.
Helping people
Certified.
feels good.
It does.
Right?
It really, really does.
I
Yes.
have people calling me. Somebody that I coached, he said, "I'm going to call you before I call my girlfriend." And when I saw him, I saw his name on my phone. I was like, "Oh my God, he got the job."
Oh, that's so nice.
That's
And
awesome.
he's-
It's awesome.
That's
He-
That one gets a hallelujah.
All
And we-
right.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. So anytime, let me know. I'm happy to
Okay.
come back.
Sounds like a plan.
Awesome.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you
Thanks
for-
so
thank you for your
much
time.
again,
Thank you,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Bye.
Let's clap her out. Thank you. Woo. Wow.
Tap and shake. Tap and shake.
Okay. Fabergé egg.
What's that?
No, I'm sorry. Hercules.
Hercules. That was Nutty Professor.
Yes. Didn't see that one.
Oh.
sound effect for that.
Well, you know what was really funny about that film? At the time I was working at Nickelodeon, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe it was MTV. I don't know. Either way, we were all in the same offices in Universal City before they moved to Santa Monica and got their own offices. And one of our talent people who casts for certain things was looking for people who have certain abilities. Let's just say, like a trick you can do, whether it's on a skateboard or
Right.
and kids. There was an age group, and because you just said that, it jogged my memory. They drove in 2 hours away, and she's like, "We're here to meet with so and so," and I said, "Okay, well, let me call her." And then I was like, "Oh, so just curious, what is your son's ability?"
Yes.
She's like, "He looks like the boy from Nutty Professor." I'm like, "Okay, but what can he do?"
Right.
And she's like, he's just like the kid in Nutty Professor. And I'm like, "How so?" And he comes around the corner, and I was like, "That's not a talent. That was a weight issue."
What?
I'm like, "I hope you didn't come very far."
Oh my God.
She was like, 2 hours. I'm like, "Oh."
Oh. Well, that's on her.
Hercules.
Yeah, it is on her for not asking the question.
Where's the slide whistle? It's a dance slide
Okay.
whistle.
We're done here.
We're done.
Where's the slide whistle?
You found it finally.